Hey guys, I'm back. I want to finish section 13-1 right now on this short video. I would like it if you guys go ahead and copy what I have written down on this paper. This is section 13-2. Now I'm on page 712. I want to do example 3 this time. Example 3 is finding something called amplitude. We talked about finding a cycle, identifying a cycle, and finding the period. The period was the horizontal distance, so we subtracted the x values to find the horizontal distance of a periodic function. This time we're going to find something called the amplitude, which is equally important to find. The amplitude is a vertical distance. It's the distance from the middle of the pattern to the top, or from the middle of the pattern to the bottom of the pattern in the periodic function. The whole distance from top to bottom is the range. The range of the periodic function, remember domain and range? Well, the range of the periodic function is the distance from the top all the way to the bottom, but the amplitude is half that distance. From the middle, where if you can find the middle of this periodic function, it's not always the x-axis. It could be something else. As you can see in example 3, it's not the x-axis. The middle is not the x-axis. But you got to identify the middle, and then sometimes you don't even have to identify the middle. You can just find the distance, the whole distance from top to bottom, and then divide it by 2. You will get the amplitude. So it doesn't really matter that if you identify what the middle is. And it's not always going to be the x-axis in the middle, just like in example 3. So this is an example I just drew up. Is it a periodic function? Yeah, it is, because it's horizontal, first of all. Second of all, it's a repeating pattern. The same pattern happens over and over again. Up, curvy, that little spike, and then down. And it's going to repeat over and over again, the same pattern. If I were to draw a cycle, remember I have to start and end at the same exact spot. If I started here and ended here, that's not a complete cycle because it doesn't include the whole pattern. If I start here and end here, that's a complete cycle. Look, so the period would be the distance from here to here, whatever that is. I don't have any numbers here. Okay, so a cycle would be from here all the way to here, to stop here. Start and end at the same spot. Another cycle would be, if I started at this bottom of the V, it'd be this whole hump here, and where would it end? It'd end exactly where it started. So another cycle would be if I drew from here all the way to here. That's one cycle. Another cycle would be starting in the middle on the x-axis, drawing it from here all the way to here, because that pattern does repeat and will draw the whole pattern again and again. Okay, so there's more than one way to find a cycle. There's more than one cycle that you can draw. And the period would be the distance from here to here. If I pick these 2 points here, if I pick this cycle here, the period would be the distance from this point to this point, which is subtract x values. Whenever you're finding distance that's horizontal, you're subtracting x values. Whenever you're finding distance that's vertical, you're subtracting y values. So right now we're finding amplitude, so we're finding vertical distance, so we're subtracting the y values. And then go ahead and write all this stuff down. The periodic function, an amplitude of a periodic function, is the distance from the center of the graph to the max or min value. It is half the range of the graph, if you can see. This is the graph. The range would be the highest to lowest y values, which is from here to here, max to min. That would be the range. The amplitude would be from the center to the top, or the center to the bottom. Or you can just find the range, subtract the top, the max minus the min, will give you the distance, the whole distance, and to find half of it, you divide by 2. The range is the distance from the max to the min. The amplitude is half that distance. Here I wrote down, since the distance is vertical, we can subtract the y values, y2 minus y1, to find the amplitude. So seeing that, we're going to go ahead and do example 3 from the book. Most of these lessons are going to be directly from the book, just to help us out here with this continued learning, this remote learning, which is going to be hard to do, but we'll be all right. Here's the book, and hopefully you have the book at home. If you don't, we're going to have some issues. Example 3, this is example 3. What they want us to do is they want us to find the amplitude of the periodic function at the right. So to find the periodic function, the amplitude, just find the maximum point, the maximum point and the minimum point in this graph. This is the minimum point, here's the maximum point. If you can find that distance, subtract the y values. 4 minus negative 2, isn't that 6? These are counting by 2's, by the way, 2, 4. 2, 4, 6. Or subtract 4 minus negative 2. Or negative 2 minus 4 is negative 6. But since we're talking about distance, make the negative a positive. It's the absolute value of that number. So if you subtract, it doesn't matter which way you subtract. If you get a negative answer, just make it positive. That's distance. So it's 6. The amplitude is 6 of example 3. What I want you to do is go ahead and do quick check number 3 at the bottom of the page. If you saw the answers, that's okay, but go ahead and do it on your own. Find the amplitude of each of these. I'd like you to also find the period, and I'd like you to also draw a cycle for A and B. Quick check A and B. Go ahead and find the period also of the example 3. If you do all that, I would like you to go ahead and look at example 4. Just read it and see what they're doing. They found the period and the amplitude of this example here, this real life example of oscilloscope, which is used in electronics and electrical engineering. And they use periodic functions in electronics a lot. So go ahead and read example 4 and see what they're doing. You don't have to copy it down, but just read it and try to understand what's going on. Homework will be following. I'll be probably sending that on Remind. And to check the homework, do the same thing. Take a picture of it. Send it to my email, sadh@dearbornschools.org. And then I will be checking those all the time. Remember, homework is worth almost 40% of your grade now, not 20%. I doubled the homework now. So homework is worth a lot more. There will be quizzes also, but not that many. But I'll send you short quizzes that you can take a picture of and send it to me also. We'll talk about that when the time is right. Thank you very much, guys. Yalla.